The US economy just seems to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. The big issue for investors now is concentration risk. The US accounts for 70% of equity markets. And even when you drill down into the US, obviously there's a big tech bias as well, and that's driving things. Inflation looks to be in control. We've got, 2 cuts priced in by the end of this year, 5 cuts by the next 12-month period ending. And it's now all about earnings season, US elections and rate cut expectations. That seems to be the focus of the markets.
That earnings season has been, and I say this honestly with only a few days into this third quarter earnings season, but it seems fairly positive. And having the expectation of, 4%, 4.9% earnings growth or so for this earnings season, it seems a little bit benign. It seems like that perhaps should be upped a little bit, actually, and perhaps people were too conservative going in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Q3 earnings, 4%, revenue growth, 5%. Let's look at Q4 earnings, which aren't out yet. We're talking about 15% earnings growth and 5% revenues growth. So the environment is improving, and that's reflected in numbers. But there's a few things going on. AI growth, that narrative seems to be slowing down.
Is it investment or is it growth in it? And I say that just because people are spending but not necessarily getting the revenue yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a growth story narrative. We're kind of peaking. We've had a lot of strength reflected in NVIDIA, the Mag 7, what's been going on in that space. You've also got wage pressure, compression impacting on earnings numbers as well. So you can see why you've got a 4% handle on earnings right now. But the numbers so far, you're right, it's very early days. We've got the banks this week. We had the banks last week, which were really strong. We've got Goldman, we've got Morgan Stanley, we've got American Airlines, United Airlines, we've got Netflix as well. They're all numbers that everybody is focused on with real interest. But of course, markets just seem to be trading higher and higher in the US. The narrative is all about the US. It's a $27 trillion economy. It's growing at 3%. It's about the US economy. It's about the US consumer. It's about US earnings. And a really interesting figure that I was listening to your narrative earlier on this morning, NVIDIA and its market cap now exceeds the size of the UK economy. Yeah. It's bonkers. It's the same size as India. It's madness when you look at the size of some of these economies.